Welcome, algebra students, to lesson 5.3, addition and subtraction of algebraic fractions, beginning on page 111, going through page 113. Before we begin our lesson, recall, to add and subtract algebraic fractions, you first need to find the lowest common multiple of the denominators to determine the common denominator. Also, recall the lowest product contains every factor of the given expressions. We will use that method in doing our problems for today. So we will begin with try it number 5 on the top of page 112. We have in letter A 5 over 9p to the second plus 1 over p to the third. So we have to come to common denominators for 9p to the second and p to the third. So 9p to the second, I simply factor it out according to what's there, and it's 3 to the second times p to the second, or 3 times p times p, and it's 1 times p to the third. At this point, I simply take the higher of my numerals and the higher of my letter with the same letter with the factors. So I take my highest factor. In this case, it would be 3 to the second times p to the third. 3 to the second is 9. Of course, p to the third is just p to the third. So my common denominator for these two fractions, algebraic fractions, are 9p to the third. Now I need to convert them. So I take 5 over 9p to the second to get to 9p to the third. To get from just to a higher exponent, I simply multiply it by another p. So if I do it there, I do it here. So if I do it here, I get 9p to the third. Up here, 5 times p is 5p. So here's my equivalent fraction to my first value. I do the same thing on the other for the other fraction. So again, I'm going from p to the third to 9p to the third, which I need to multiply this by 9 to get there. If I multiply my denominator by 9, I also multiply my numerator by 9 and end up with 9. Therefore, 9 over 9p to the third is an equivalent fraction to my second value. So now here are my new values, my equivalent fractions, and my new problem looks like this. 5p over 9p to the third plus 9 over 9p to the third, which is simply 5p plus 9 over 9p to the third. I can't combine it any further. That is my answer. Going to example B, I have a negative thrown in there. So I have 6 over mn minus 7 over nk. So my lowest common multiple, mn is simply m times n, nk is simply n times k. So I need to take all of this, so there's only one m, so I keep it. There are two of these, but they are both to the first power, so I just keep the n. And then there's just one of these, but I need to keep that also because I need the factors from all of this. I can't just throw them out. I'm not looking for matches. I'm keeping the highest factor of all of this, and I'm keeping all of the products, all of every factor in that situation. So I have m times n times k, which is m n k. So that's my new denominator. So to go from mn to mnk, I simply multiply by k in both the denominator and the numerator, which leaves me with 6k over mnk. Likewise, on this side, to get to mnk, I multiply both numerator and denominator by m, because that's the one that's missing. So it's 7m over mnk. Now I just substitute my equivalent fractions into the problem. So it's 6k over mnk minus 7m over mnk, which is 6k minus 7m over mnk. In this situation, the negative, I didn't have to do anything with the negative. I wasn't doing combining or multiplying or dividing. It just stays as is. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. let's go on and we'll add a new little level to this and try it number 6. And that is the bottom of page 112. So letter A and try it number 6. I have 3 over 4x minus 1 plus 2 over 5x plus 6. Now, for denominators, I need to treat this each as a unit. So I simply am going to do the cross multiplying to get common denominators, because it's going to be this times this. I'm not going to do any combining. I'm just going to simply take this product times this product and then do the crosses at the top. So multiplying this fraction by 5x plus 6, both in the numerator and the denominator, I end up with 3 times 5x plus 6 over 4x minus 1 times 5x plus 6. I do the reverse cross multiplication on the other side and end up with 2 times 4x minus 1 over 4x minus 1 times 5x plus 6. I put it in the same order because I need that commonality in the denominators. So I end up with this value right here plus this value right there over my common denominator here. So now I have to distribute in the numerator part. So I'm going to distribute the 3 to this and the positive 2 to this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So 3 times 5x is 15x. 3 times positive 6 is positive 18. 2 times positive 4x is positive 8x. And 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Okay, it's all over 4x minus 1 times 5x plus 2. Now at this point, I'm going to combine like terms. I'm going to combine my x's and my whole numbers. So combining 15x and 8x, I have 23x. Combining positive 18 and negative 2, I have positive 16. So my answer is 23x plus 16 over 4x minus 1 times 5x plus 6. And there is my answer. So that was a little level. Now going on to letter B. Letter B has an interesting little thing, because in letter B, let me just see if I've got this lined up right, because I sat down a minute. That looks about right. So in letter B, I have x squared minus 4, and then I have 2 minus x. So in both situations, I have something wonky. In the first one, I have perfect pairs, so I'm going to follow the pattern for that. And in the second one, my x and my 2, they're kind of flipped around. So I'm going to realign this by multiplying by a negative 1, because I want this to be a positive x. So 2 positives make, or 2 negatives rather, make a positive. So I'm going to do 2 separate things here. So I'm just going to keep my numerators for right now. And using the pattern, because they're perfect pairs here, so I'm going to do the pattern, which becomes x plus 2 times x minus 2 because of the negative there. And then I'm going to have 3, and I'm going to multiply it by a 1, and that gives me a negative x minus 2. So negative 1 times this gives me a negative x minus 2. So basically, now I have this plus a negative. Well, plus a negative is simply a negative. So I just rewrite that again. This same thing repeats. This same thing repeats, but now instead of a plus a negative, it's just plain negative. At this point, I need to have common denominators. I have half of it here. I have the x minus 2. I just need the x plus 2. So I don't really have to do anything to this, so this stays the same. I just need to multiply this fraction by x plus 2, which is what I did here, keeping the minus. Now I have 8 minus 3 times x plus 2. At this point, over my common denominator, I need to distribute my negative 3 to the x and the 2. So I'm going to have 8, negative 3 times x is a negative 3x. Negative 3 times positive 2 is a negative 6. Now I combine like terms, and I am going to combine my whole numbers. 8 minus 6 is 2, and minus 3x. And at this point, I'm not going to realign because when I get down here, if I realign this gets wonky. So I'm just going to leave it as is, leave well enough alone. My answer is 2 minus 3x over x plus 2 times x minus 2. Might have to listen to this a couple different times, but all of the steps are listed on the right. So make sure you get all these steps written down and refer to them as you work through your problems that may include samples like this. One more try it, top of 113, try it 7. Again, let me see if I have this, just kind of tweak it a little bit. There we go. Try it 7. I have 3 over, look at this. Look at that algebraic expression. It's in the form that we've come to know. It's a quadratic linear equation form. So x squared minus 10x plus 25 minus 8 over x minus 5, which is a unit, like I rewrote down here. What I need to do here is cross factorize that. I did not do that off to the side, but if you did, you will end up coming up with x minus 5 times x minus 5, which is simply x minus 5 squared because I'm repeating it. So on this side, I have 3 over x minus 5 squared minus 8 over just one of them, x minus 5. So basically, I am going to need to multiply each of these values by another x minus 5 to get an x minus 5 squared in my denominator. Therefore, when I do this, I do end up with x minus 5 squared, and up here it's 8 times x minus 5. So I rewrite it just as is, 3 minus 8 times x minus 5 over x minus 5 squared. Now I distribute that negative 8 to the x and the negative 5. So I have 3 minus 8x plus 40 over x minus 5 squared. Combine like terms. So 3 and 40 is 43 minus 8x over x minus 5 squared. Again, I am not going to realign at this point because it would really mess everything up here. So that is my answer, 43 minus 8x over x minus 5 squared. And there you have it. You might need to rewatch this a couple times. Remember, get all the steps written down in your notes because you might need to refer to these as you work through your problems and examples for today. And your assignment then is on page 113, numbers 1, 2, and 3. And that is today's assignment. If you have any questions, please ask. As always, you can rewatch the video, pause, rewind, copy take as long as you need to copy this first time through. You know the drill. You know the drill. Do good math. Thank you.